is a minor accident. Yes, should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right. One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. Just obstacle set in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. The claim that I'm lazy be killing me, maybe the slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting, the trail of my tears is countless. The fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Cracking the sky, nuclear missiles will make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be, slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cage and safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash, get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now. Someday you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog.
Look, ain't no remorse in my blood slim. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember your Honda's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in his body, you fit a Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is dish served cold, I just hope they make an oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in the world of mad shooters. That was designed fire for our babies to pass through. In the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums. One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
Bust the heat.
ODing on a beat, Narcan flow. We outside. We outside with it. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in the store, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, cause we outside. Before the COVID had the mess and we was outside. The Glock loaded, extra mag and it's outside. There's one west for that bag and we outside. We outside. I got the world in the palm of my hand. One West sleeve stretch, do it live on the gram. Had a whole world viewing. Click and subscribe. Had them niggas off the block, tell them shooters they want a job. I just put them on the payroll. When I get control them, I just mold them like they Play-Doh. Soldiers giving Halo, trying to get up at them pesos. 40 cows send you out of space, Jeff Bezos. And Jeff Bezos, leave you all boxed up. All cause my delivery, I be on that prime shit. Take you time to get with me. Got me like Vladimir. Treat you like the Ukraine. Raid your little city, now you boating like Usain. Scope costs more than the rifle. I got new aim. Fresh kick, spit with the blick. Not my shoe game. Used to have a dirty 30 tied to a shoestring. Now I got that Ruger 5 and 7. That's my boot thing. That temperature's getting hot. We take it outside. You run your mouth up in the store. We take it outside. I got my killers with me. You won't make it outside. Outside, outside, cause we outside. Before the COVID had the mess and we was outside. The Glock loaded, extra mag and it's outside. There's one West for that bag and we outside. We outside. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in the store, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, outside, cause we outside. Before the COVID had the mess and we was outside. The Glock loaded, extra mag and it's outside. There's one West for that bag and we outside. We outside. I don't talk hardly. Be there when you call me. Send them Philly clippers at your head like a baldy. Chopper get to run down your block like a Harley. No, this ain't a big hog. This the big dog.
In your city, swinging through the jungle like it's pitfall. In the water wading, marching to my cadence. Big burst of thunder in my hands like I'm reading. Shitty little combat sounds, but I ain't playing.
Look 'em in the eye before the war like a weigh-in. I'm up in the AM, politicking movements with that Draco from the vid because it's proven. Waiting on my brother how to bid, he ain't do shit. That's how life go. Win some, you lose. Seen a little nigga beat a big nigga out his shoes. Seen that nigga come back, pull up with a gun strap, rob everybody outside, told him run that. We outside. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this car, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, outside, yeah, we outside. Before the COVID had the mess and we was outside. My Glock loaded extra mag and it's outside. There's one West for that bag and we outside. Outside, outside, yeah, we outside. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this car, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. We outside, outside, and we outside. Outside, outside, yeah, we outside. We outside, outside, yeah, we outside. There's one West on them corners and we outside. We outside, outside with it.
Call me Lisa too Jeezy. I mean that shit look easy. How bitches come and they greet me, they teach me. Bitches ain't shit and they never will be. I still see hoes on my nuts, but they can't feel me. But really though, I'm in beast mode with the flow. Yeah, it's 10 in the morning. I get up and this, you know that I look into the mirror through my eyes. I see my soul. I see a true ass priest, Prince of Israel. Yes, bro. I be freshen up, wash up, a true nigga. Throw on my gold, it should go, you know me, cuz. Slip out the door with my 4th dimension cologne. Shine out TLC, Israel, you know what we own. Then I call up Chaataza. Wasn't much, just refresh with some young stars. Make some noise with this music, with some lost tribes. Yeah, nigga, yeah. Now I know that times may change, but bitch, I'm still the same. Yeah, and I know this a crazy ass game. They really ain't a thing. And they know that gun go bang. Ain't tryna die today. Whoa, and they know what we all gon' say. Bitch on UPK, hey bitch on UPK. I can't even think about you right now. Yeah, I'm chillin' with the homies and you know how I put down. I'm cool and I'm just sippin' while fucking with these little bitches. Ice up on my neck, got these hoes so consistent. It's so relentless that I just come back with stats in my backpack. I gotta make a track. Man, fuck what you're talking about, that bitch is a net. Now I don't swallow no crap, but showing a nigga from the back. I just on the block, now these bitches won't come out. Me and Cud chillin', got Modelo's in the south. Niggas be muggin', but I name it in their mouth. Cause they know how Prince Sharp Mom put it down. Down, did it down. Hot in my coupe cruising around town. They all in the back on the ground. Glizzy on the mount. Bitches want water like I'm a fountain. They follow to the house. Well, shit, this ain't even my house. But,
Check, mic check, 1 2 1 2. We are live and direct. This is Cross the Line Radio. We got a little bit of feedback on that. You know what I'm saying? What's going down? Y'all already know. You know what I'm saying? To the brother of Bendigo, ISUPK music is A1. You damn right. North Philly in the house. You know what I'm saying? Marla Stevenson, shout out to you. You know what I'm saying? Adolphus last. Who else is in the chat? What we got going on? What's going down? David Johnson. I'm not finishing the rest of your name. Who else is live with us, Ashar? Let me see some of these comments, my brother. Scroll up. Olivia Arnold, Tony Estrada, Rilla. Is that Toby? Toby Izzy. You know what I'm saying? Anybody got any questions, any comments? Y'all can more than welcome to raise your hand on stage. You know what I'm saying? We are live on Clubhouse as well. You know what I'm saying? And it should be an interesting night. So for those of you who haven't seen already, should I say we've invaded the indigenous community? We had a build yesterday. What does they say? They say builds, right? We had a weigh-in yesterday with Captain Soccer War and Top Cats. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was healthy. It also led to a dialogue later on their channel. Hey, Akim, the show started. You know what I'm saying? We also what do you call it? It also led to a conversation with the brother on his channel. We have you know what I'm saying, that excerpt right now on Cross the Line. And I mean the funniest joint ever. Matter of fact, Ashar, can we pull this clip up? Can you get me the Aboriginal chief with the peace pipe? I want y'all to see something here, right? So on Cross the Line, there's going to be a video uploaded. It's going to say Aboriginal chief smokes the peace pipe. I want to play that right now for everybody. This joint is hilarious. You know what I'm saying? Slacky, do you need him right now? Because he's running the office. Oh, so would you just pull up? You my brother, right? Right? Yeah. You allowed on the podium, right? What's up? I know you earned your right. What's up? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay. Aboriginal chief, can we share this? I want y'all to see something real quick. This is the conversation we had last night. Check this out. For those of you on Clubhouse, you might want to check YouTube out because this joint right here is hilarious. And Karab is insane for these edits. Shout out to Officer Karab.
Me, bro. Hey, Jones, relax, bro. Because I want to make sure we get an understanding.
Yeah, we had a very civil dialogue earlier, brother. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like, and
you ain't got to worry about that over here, bro. We good.
No sweat. So I'm just gonna land here.
Now, come on, now, don't run like.
Could you make it full screen? You don't want me to finish, brother?
Nah, you good. I moved him.
Okay, I appreciate it. Like, and I don't mind having the back and forth with him. You know what I'm saying? I just want the space to just land here. So what I'm saying is, it's been proven that there's
viewers may find the following video disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Your brains on drugs.
More than enough artifacts that have been found that have been dated to pre-Columbian times that we find amongst the natives in there.
Nigga, did you know that I can see you? Nigga, you right there. It's on your nose.
Burial grounds, you know what I'm saying? Amongst more than enough areas and demographics. Yeah. So it's like we could talk about specific artifacts and then their validity, because how then do you explain the pre-Columbian Hebrew Israelite presence amongst the natives? And I'll land right. This same cat whose name is Chief, he chiefing all right. You know what I'm saying? Pulls out a soda can. You know what I'm saying? Check this out. Pulls out a soda can. Look like he's freebasing out the damn soda can, and he want to argue with me about the word of God. He want to argue with me about, like, and what's crazy is if y'all go listen to this, right? He turned around. He said something to me where he was like, he said he was like, yeah, you know, because the scientific method and the archaeology and the this and the that and the science that they're using, this is the science he's using. He making peace pipes out of cans. Man.
You know what I'm saying? Amongst more than enough areas and demographics. So it's like we could talk about specific artifacts and then their validity, because how then do you explain the pre-Columbian Hebrew Israelite presence amongst the natives? And I'll land there because I don't know if he got the discipline, but go ahead.
Hey, shout out to whoever put him on full screen too.
Any questions?
Wow, crazy for the any questions. That's this is your brain on drugs. Insane. Oh, hold on. I gotta actually join the clubhouse room. Hold up. Let me stop playing around. All right, we in there. It's like you got boy. You got a question? I see Dre's in the building. Dre, you know what I'm saying? You could go ahead, raise your hand whenever you're ready. I don't know if you just listening. All right, hold up. Let me bring this brother up. I'm a mod Dre up, y'all, just because, you know what I'm saying, we supposed to have a conversation tonight. Boom, boom, boom. Ping, ping, ping. Share, share, share. And Dre, what's going on, bro?
Shalom, gentlemen. How y'all doing, y'all? Man, blessed, man. No complaints on my end, you know.
So just so y'all know, like, you know what I'm saying, Dre has a little bit to do with, you know what I'm saying, the title of this room right now. I think maybe 2 weeks back or a week and a half ago, we were having a discussion on the virgin birth, you know what I'm saying? And we still haven't agreed on a title to have a formal debate. But my agent, Yawasop, he turned around and said that this was one of your points of contention, and that's a little wild to me, especially knowing you have like a Israelite background. So is that true or what?
Yes, sir, absolutely. It's always, this is something that's intriguing to me, so I'm always, intrigued by y'all perspective on this. So I kind of chopped it up with a brother a few days ago, but I'm still getting y'all full take on it. You know what I'm saying? So absolutely, he represented me correctly as far as it being an intriguing topic for me.
So just so I don't misrepresent you, what is your direct stance?
Is that Adam would have been the first man formed, would have been the first man created, as far as from the dust of the earth. So my take is that he doesn't have biological or an earthly mother and father, as in a male or female.
So there was no one before him. He is literally the first person in existence.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, you know what always comes up, you know what I'm saying, especially when I speak with, you know what I'm saying, because usually it's someone from the Christian church. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's somebody from the Christian who's saying this to me or whatever the case may be. And what I want to know is, this is the first question that I always ask them. If that's the case, and Adam was the first person, when Cain was cast out, where did he find his wife?
Yeah, well, my perspective on that, just to be clear with you, you know what I'm saying, because I don't like to sound like I'm ducking the question. I'll say that my take on that is it doesn't say verbatim, but my belief system is that he would have taken a relative, and I would say that, that is relative to like extra references or extra biblical references. The same way, even if you disagree with me, you wouldn't be able to show where his wife came from, or who she descended from, or who birthed her. So as far as biblically, as far as the canon, you know what I'm saying? I honestly, and I can be honest and say, it doesn't say verbatim. I reference that based on extra biblical references, Josephus or other texts or whatnot, that he would have taken a sister, because the text isn't entirely clear. And I think if we go into it, the narrative of it suggests that he already had her. Like when we go into Genesis, I believe chapter 4, it says Cain knew his wife. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't give any like explanation on where he met her. It doesn't say he met her in the land of Nod. It doesn't say he took her from the garden. You know what I'm saying? But the narrative does suggest or support that somehow, some way, she was already with him. Now, I do reference extra biblical sources to substantiate my idea, and even from your end, it isn't clear from where she came from or who she would have descended from. But yes, I would be one to say, just to be clear, she would have been one of the descendants. She would have been one of his relatives.
Well, everybody's lineage, whether they're Israelites or not, aren't mentioned, you know what I'm saying, in the scriptures. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't the book of every other nation and their pedigree. This is, you know what I'm saying, the book of Israel and their pedigree. This is really the book of Adam's family. You know what I'm saying? Those that are chosen. You know what I'm saying? Adam being the first person who was chosen. Salaki, Akim, can we keep it down? You know what I'm saying? Adam being the first man, you understand, as far as chosen by the Most High. And then, you know what I'm saying, post to it, you know what I'm saying, being Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and, you know what I'm saying, Israel being the Lord's chosen nation. But now, you know what I'm saying, here's the thing, though. When we start running down who is listed, at that time, the children who were named, because if you're saying that it's going to be family, we have Adam, then we have Eve. If we're going to say it's one of the sisters, why is it that during the time then of Cain and Abel that none of these daughters are mentioned, and that all of a sudden we just find this woman, you understand, post him being, you know what I'm saying, cast off?
Yeah, I would say that's a fair question, and the way I would answer that is in the book of Genesis. Even when you get to Genesis, when you get to Genesis chapter 5, it never mentions a woman, Chaataza. You know what I'm saying? Look at Genesis chapter 5. Verse 2, male and female created he him and blessed them and called their name Adam in the day they were created. Adam lived 130 years and begot a son in his own likeness after his image and called his son Seth, his name Seth. Now, you and I would agree on one thing: the Bible can be focal. It can be referenced as a focal point, because right here it don't even mention Cain and Abel. You feel me? And then when you continue down, it goes into Seth, it goes into Enos, it goes into Canaan, but it never mentions any daughters. And I would say that idea is similar to, when it mentions, he tells Abraham, your son, your only son Isaac. He doesn't even mention Ishmael. So I'm saying that the scriptures, they focal in on a particular individual. You know what I'm saying? That's substantial to the idea of whatever it's trying to convey. It doesn't, because by Genesis chapter 5 all the way on down, it ain't mentioned no women yet. So is your take that no women were born by the time of Genesis chapter 5 when we get all the way down to Enos, Canaan, Mahaliel, Jared? You know what I'm saying? It goes all the way into these lineages, 7 or 8 of them in Genesis 5. No women are mentioned nowhere. So would you say that no women were born at that time period?
No, because my take would be that there were other people, you know what I'm saying, that were already on the earth. But the reason as to why I'm bringing it up, and I feel like one of the points you made kind of plays more into my hand, as far as when you bring up about how Isaac's mentioned, because Isaac was the one who was chosen. Like, can we agree that Seth was born after Cain and Abel?
Absolutely.
So when we start running down when we start running down Adam's pedigree, what we'd actually see, you know what I'm saying? What we actually see is Seth, because Abel's already dead. Cain has been casted off, so therefore he's not chosen. You know what I'm saying? Like, the inheritance isn't going through to him. So therefore, why would we now count him as one of our own if he's a bastard, if he's casted off, if Adam is not claiming him? It's in the same capacity of, if we go back to what you were saying with Abraham. Abraham had 8 carnal sons. When you look at the inheritance that was given out, Isaac was given the promise. You know what I'm saying? And that even though Ishmael was favored by, you know what I'm saying, Abraham, you know what I'm saying, which is why he got a blessing, but he didn't get the promise, he didn't get the covenant. So when you trace that line down, it's talking about who wasn't casted off, and Cain was casted off. So now, why would they name anybody else? But what we do see is they're counting Seth. What we do see is Cain and Abel are being named. So there's, what you're saying then is that is there some kind of gap between Seth, Cain, and Abel? What's up?
No, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I'm saying that they're referencing. I'm saying that they're referencing self. I'm sorry, brother. I'll wait.
I'm sorry. Repeat that one more time. I'm sorry.
I said I was gonna wait on you. No, I'm saying that Seth would have been that individual. Like we agree in certain genealogies when it's passed down, it deal with particular figures in each genealogy. So I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, Seth would have been that one to carry on that quote unquote righteousness. You know what I'm saying? Just like when we get down to certain genealogies, it references those individuals that are important and those ones that would carry forth that quote unquote righteous line. That don't mean that they're the only individual. That just mean that they would have been that specific individual to carry on their righteous line. Now, if I could ask you a question real quick, where was Eve made forth or brought forth from?
Okay, so it's going to turn around and say Adam's rib.
I'm just saying from your perspective. I agree with that. I'm just saying, what do you believe that means? How do you interpret that?
Okay, so we would interpret that as if the story of Adam and Eve would be an allegory. So it's a true story told in a metaphorical fashion. I'm going to continue to answer the question, but just so I know your point of reference, when we read Genesis 2, right, and we're introduced to Adam and Eve and her creation, what day is that taking place to you as far as creation's concerned?
Oh, let me go so I don't misrepresent the text. I believe it was on the 7th. Let me just be. It says in Genesis 2, and 2, and on the 7th day he ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the 7th day from all his work which he had made, and he sanctified, verse 3, and God blessed and sanctified the day and sanctified it, because that in it he rested from all his work in which God had created. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth which God, when they were created, in the day that the Lord God made the earth and the heavens. So just so you know, my take on this, and I'm sure you're already familiar with this, you've already heard this perspective. Genesis chapter 2 is more so going into detail about the things that took place in chapter 1 from my perspective. So in chapter 1, it lets you know he created the heavens, the earth, the trees, the seas, man, female, etc. But it don't go into detail about how he did it. So my take is in Genesis chapter 2, it's just going into detail about the things that took place in Genesis chapter 1 that he did. Genesis chapter 1, from my take, is an overall view on the things that happened from the first to the seventh. Then in Genesis chapter 2 is giving you, you know what I'm saying, specific detail on how he did that. I know you was going to say that. You go ahead.
No, okay. So now, but here's what I'm saying though. I feel like you can't have it both ways. If we're saying that Genesis, the 2nd chapter, is the 7th day, you know what I'm saying? Then what we're reading about is transpiring on the 7th day. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I just wanted to know if we'd have a point of contention on that or not. So where we're at. So this is our direct stance on how Eve was created. That when you read about this, right, on the 7th day, this is talking about a spiritual creation. You know what I'm saying? If I was to translate this, Adam would be like the first man who was born again. He was alive just like all of us were before the truth. You know what I'm saying? Once we come into the truth, we are a new creature because we have a breath of life. You know what I'm saying? The breath of life for us is the instructions from the Most High, the laws of the Most High. Much like Ezekiel, the 37th chapter, when he said, speak unto these bones that they may live, that I may have breath enter into their nostrils, speak my word unto them, paraphrasing, of course. So when you get to Eve, you understand it's flesh of his flesh, bone of his bone. All throughout the scriptures, you see, for example, I'm going to paraphrase one, I'll read the other. When you see, you know what I'm saying, when Jacob seen Laban, he says, surely you are bone of my bone. Right. The other one that I was going to read, I believe it's 2 Samuel 5 and 2. Hold on, then I'm going to bounce back to Genesis. Give me a second. 2 Samuel 5. Boom. You know what I'm saying? Then came all the tribes of Israel to David unto Hebron, and spake, saying, behold, we are thy bone and thy flesh, meaning your bone and your flesh is talking about your nation and people. So when you see that Adam, his rib, is talking about the woman from his nation. He didn't go and get a woman from another nation. He went and got a woman, you understand, who was from his nation, much like Jacob went and got a woman who was a part of his family, which is why he married, you know what I'm saying, Rachel and Leah, which is why when he saw Laban, it was flesh of his flesh, bone of his bone, because that was a tradition that was sealed since Adam, which is why it says that after the rib was taken out, it was sewn up.
Okay, so yeah, so I was curious on your take on that. So when it says he, as far as the breath of life that he breathed into Adam, what do you believe that was? Because if I could just run real quick before I ask that.
No, go ahead.
It lets you know that prior to Eve, it says Eve, as far as when we go to 1 Corinthians, that I'm gonna pull in a second, it says because of her, that they had a particular name. What were they called? What were, whatever you want to say, the women were prior to Eve? What were they referred to as? Because they were referred to as women only because of Eve. So what would they have been referred to prior to Eve?
So women, I don't even understand that. A woman is a woman. You know what I'm saying? Eve is given a title as like a mother of all living. You know what I'm saying? Because of as far as Adam and Eve were the first people with this breath of life. So let me start with the breath of life to just explain Eve's title. Man and woman, remember, male and female created he them. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that our stance is he created Adam as a mankind. You know what I'm saying? You have Adam as a man and you have Adam as mankind, much like we call man today. You know what I'm saying? And these are titles. But as far as the first thing you said, when it comes down to the breath of life, that's what I was explaining a moment ago. If I read Ezekiel 37, I'm going to start at verse 3. And he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Lord God, thou knowest. Again, he said unto me, prophesy unto these bones and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear ye the word of, hear ye the word of the Lord. Verse 5. Thus saith the Lord God, unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. So this was, you understand, the same breath that entered into Adam. Adam was alive, much like me and you are. You understand? But without the truth, without the Lord's instruction, without his law, all of us are dead. It's that spirit that gives us life. And that's what was given on to Adam, which is why I said it would damn near be like Adam was the first man who was born again. Adam was the first man who was, you understand, given this chance to serve the Lord. He was given this instruction. He was chosen from the Lord and breath entered into him. Now we're born again because we messed up. But I'm trying to give you an example of how life doesn't mean that you were dead. It means that you were without the Lord. And now you live once you're with him.
Gotcha. So in Genesis chapter 7 and 21, and it says, and all, it's talking about the flood. I started 20. 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail, and the mountains were covered. And all flesh that moved upon the earth, both of fowl and of cattle, and of beast, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and of every man, all in whose nostrils was the breath of life, of all that was in the dry land died. This is talking about the animals, man, etc. What was the breath of life that was in the animals?
What'd you say now, sir? He's talking about the breath of life that's inside of Genesis 7, right?
Yes, sir.
The point that I'm explaining to the general. The general just sat down and joined us on the show right now, so he was wondering what your question was. So I was just explaining it to him.
Yeah, want me to repeat it?
You want to repeat it? What's his point? What's the point about it? So the point of all this is that he believes that Adam was the first man as far as creation, and that there was no one on the earth prior to them. Okay. And then he was asking me a question about the breath of life. So now he's asking me a question about the breath of life inside of Genesis, the 7th chapter. All right. You want to say anything, sir? Cut him, Khan. You know what I'm saying? So now, as far as which verse again? I'm sorry, I got a little distracted.
No, it's all good. Genesis chapter 7, verse 21 and 22.
Mm-hmm. All right. So did you start at? You started at 21 or you started at 22?
I started at 20 and I read down to 21.
Let's do it again because I just got a little distracted.
For sure. I got you. I read. I started at 20 again. It says 15 cubits upward did the waters prevail. I was talking about the flood and the mountain.
Okay. Yes, sir. You should work that. Good.
Okay, and the mountains were covered, and all flesh died that moved upon the earth, both of fowl and of cattle, and of beasts, and of every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth, and every man, all in whose nostrils was the breath of life, and all that was in the dry land died. So it's saying a man and all animals, fowl, cattle on land, they had the breath of life. What was the breath of life that the animals had? Okay, so this is talking about a literal breath, and context is going to tell you about if it's talking about something literal or not. Much like a moment ago, when I just gave you in Ezekiel 37, it was talking about a breath that wasn't literal because that valley of dry bones was a vision. We agree that in Ezekiel 37, that was a vision, correct? I do.
So meaning that you have a breath, which is literal air that you breathe, and you have a breath of life, which could be a metaphor for receiving instruction from the Lord. We agree?
I can understand that concept.
Okay, so my point being is that when you look at the context of what breath of life would be, you understand, once you get to Adam, that story is allegorical. You understand? As we start to move down, now we start to see when it comes down to Noah, the Lord is explaining to you what happened with this flood, moving on and so forth. I'll give you another connection with it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So if I asked you, why was Noah saved? What would you tell me?
I would say because he was righteous in all his generations, like the text says.
So when it says, I'm glad you say that because I agree. When it says that, you understand, he was perfect in his generations, literally, wouldn't that mean, you understand, in his genes, in his genetics, meaning who he dealt with, who came from him? Because before, people were marrying who they weren't supposed to marry. He went and got a woman he was supposed to get. Why? Because that tradition was, he kept the tradition that Adam made. You understand? When Noah went and got a rib, he didn't go and marry someone he wasn't supposed to. He went and married somebody who was flesh of his flesh, bone of his bone, and that's what made him perfect in his generations.
Got you. Now, what I did want to ask you, what I think is interesting, because in here in Genesis 7, in verse 20, I think it's in 22, when they talk about the breath of life, right, in verse 22. I want to ask you, in Ezekiel, I believe you're referencing Ezekiel chapter 7. They
37.
use 37, my bad, right.
Right.
They use different Hebrew words, because in Genesis chapter 7, the Hebrew word for breath, it says breath, spirit, breath of God, breath of man. It says spirit of man. In the Strong's, it says wind, angry, vital breath, divine inspiration, intellect, or concretely an animal. So I want to go to the verse that you're referencing when you say, as far as Ezekiel 37, I want to pull it up. And you said it references the breath of life, right? Okay, I just want to get there real quick so I can follow you and see what you're saying. I'm in Ezekiel 37. Which verse were you referencing?
37. So we were in, I read 3, 4, and 5. Okay. So 5, it says, I will cause breath to enter into you and ye shall live.
Got you. Yep, thus said the Lord God unto these be bones, because I will call you, right. Okay. And it references the Ruah. Now, I would agree that obviously words have different, words can have multiple definitions. But would you agree that this isn't the same Hebrew word that's used in Genesis as it pertains to Genesis 7 and 22?
Let's go look at it.
Okay. Yeah, in Genesis 7 and 22, the Hebrew word for the breath of life. The Hebrew word for breath is nasama. That word that you referenced in Ezekiel is ruah. And the word here in nasama, it talks about divine intellect, divine inspiration, etc. Okay. So that's the reason that I wanted to get your take on it, because they're different Hebrew words, which kind of can carry different, understandings when you kind of reference them and look at them.
Okay, I don't have an issue with that, because I'm also saying that they're different context either way.
Got you. So the one in Ezekiel 37 ain't the same as the one in Genesis 22?
The one in Genesis 22 is, let me see here. Hold on one second. Is Nasama. It's not the same as inside of, what do you call it? Different words.
Got you. And right, and I agree, because when you reference, I believe, let me pull this up real quick. And like I said, I know that, Strong's, I know brothers have, the perspective on the Strong's.
Yeah, I don't make Strong's the authority.
Right.
What matters more is context over everything. You get what I'm saying? Because here's what is similar inside of it, though, right? Both of them, hold on, just if you could, right?
No,
when we did read in 7, right? We were talking about breath that was inside of them. What we read inside of Genesis and what we read inside of Ezekiel, regardless of if those words was the same, was that this was a breath of life that came from the Most High, which is what's making them synonymous. You get what I'm saying? Like, both of them was breath that the Lord caused to enter into their nostrils. Both of them, you understand, was from the Most High. So as a result, I'm saying that these two breaths are the same.
Gotcha. And I'm following you. So I think we mentioned prior to this, remember we were in Genesis, let me see, when he made Eve, it said, let me pull this up, because I asked you, let's see, Genesis chapter 2, I believe. Okay, here it is. Genesis chapter 2 and verse 23. And it says, and Adam said, this is now bone of my bone and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. So it says she shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. Would she have been the first woman is what I wanted to ask you, because it says she was taken out of man. What were the women prior to her referred to as? Were the women, if it's talking about tribes, if it's talking about that, wouldn't the women prior to her have been referred to as women also?
I mean, we can sit here and we can speculate, but it's not directly saying. This is what we do know. We do know that there are traditions that's being created here, and this is the beginning as far as the culture and the lens that these people are following. You know what I'm saying? And we continue that tradition today where we call our wives ribs. You know what I'm saying? And even the word wife isn't really in Hebrew. The word wife is synonymous with woman. It's just the context of woman. Is this a regular woman or does this woman belong to a man? That's why earlier I was saying, like, you know, to ask what would they call them? We know male and female created he, them. You have man and woman. In this instance, we're talking about this woman who belongs to him. We're talking about these two that the Lord is choosing to start this bloodline with, which is why as you start to read on, when I talked earlier about as to why she would be considered the mother of all living, she would be considered the mother of all living because there was other people on the earth, correct?
I mean, if you're asking me, I'm
talking about later. Like I'm talking about later. Like even if, you know what I'm saying, for argument's sake, just for the point that I'm making, right? That by the time we get to when Cain's on the earth, there's other people now, you know what I'm saying? Which is why Cain's not in the lineage, but he still goes off, you understand, to build that city and have descendants, correct?
I would say, yeah, he went off, build a city, right? Okay, they have absolutely. They have,
but he's not under Adam and Eve's lineage, correct?
No, I mean, I don't see Abel in it either. You know, when it gets to the genealogy.
But Abel died.
True.
But when it gets to that genealogy, we see Cain mentioned as if he's still around, correct?
And when it gets to what genealogy?
When it talks about the genealogy that you're bringing up, when it starts running down Seth and so on and so forth.
Let me see. Genealogy. I just want to make sure, you know, so I don't misrepresent. Because I don't see Cain in Genesis 5. When I mention Seth, I don't see Cain mentioning that. Because in Genesis 5 and 3, it says, Adam lived 130 years and begot a son in his own likeness after his image and called his name Seth. It doesn't mention Cain in this one.
But this is what I'm saying. Because Adam and Eve being the mother of all living, meaning those who this was supposed to be passed down to, this breath of life, these traditions. And the only one from that lineage who kept it was Noah, which is why the Lord had mercy on him. So what we're talking about here is that, like, for example, right? Okay, now let me ask you this then. Was the serpent a literal snake?
I would say in a sense, it would have been something as far as duality. I would say yes, and it represented, you know, because, you know, I hold the position that it represented a spiritual being as well. So I would say yes, but you know, my perspective is it had like spiritual significance also.
Okay, but now this. Okay, so you're saying it was a literal snake and also some kind of angelic being?
I would say it was used as, you know what I'm saying? When I pull up the references and the text on it, it would have been identified or referenced as a literal snake because it talks about crawling on the belly. It talks about licking up the dust. It talks about a number of things that could literally apply to a literal snake. But I also could respect the fact that one said it was symbolic, and I believe it was in reference to a spiritual being as well. Because when we continue, it tells you that, you know, quote unquote Satan. And I know you may have a different take, but just understanding my perspective.
No, I'm listening to you. I'm walking with you.
For sure. It lets you know as we read further on, especially in the New Testament, it tells you that serpent, that, you know, the devil or whatnot that deceived her was, you know what I'm saying, was Satan. So I'm saying that's my understanding, that it was a serpent, but in the same time, it would have been representative of a spiritual being as well.
I got a question in the super chat once I'm done with this. You know what I'm saying? Sure. Somebody asked you, you know what I'm saying, from the crowd. But you know what I'm saying? Here's the thing though. Like, now this would be my point of contention with that, which would show that serpent was actually a man. You know what I'm saying? When I go to Revelations, the 12th chapter, right? And I read, which verse do I want? I want to say 9. And the great dragon that was cast out, that old serpent, when it says this old serpent, we agree that this is talking about the old serpent from the garden?
I would agree with you.
And it says, called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. So now, you know what I'm saying? The devil and Satan, all of these apply to the old serpent, correct?
I would agree.
You would also agree that the great dragon that's cast out is also synonymous with this old serpent, correct?
I would agree.
So if the dragon, the serpent, the devil, and Satan is all the same thing, well, we have to read up earlier in the chapter to get more context on who this is, because this isn't the first time he's mentioned, right?
Right.
So now, if we were to keep reading, right? And let me say, I'll just start at verse 1. You know what I'm saying? And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, and her head in a crown of 12 stars. This is a vision. This is not literal, which means what's inside of here is something being told in a metaphorical fashion, even though it's a prophecy. And she, being with child, cried, travailed in birth, and pain to be delivered. Now, I'm not going to break down everything, but what I do want to get is to the description of this dragon. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. We agree this is the same dragon?
Let me see. Let me see. And there appeared another woman in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. It said another. So it said, let me see, red having 7 heads. Okay, another wonder in heaven. All right, I'm with you.
So we agree that this dragon is the dragon of the chapter.
I wouldn't say that. No, I would say this is another sign as far as Revelations, because like you said, a lot of things in Revelations are, I'm not going to say parables are spoken as far as like metaphorical, like you just mentioned, as far as the woman clothed in the sun and the moon. And that's why when my take is when you get down to that verse you were just in, it says, and there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon.
But that's the beginning of the chapter. This is the introduction to the dragon. I started at 9 because it talked about the great dragon, and then it starts talking about all the other titles that are synonymous with him. I dropped down to the beginning of the chapter to show you where this dragon is introduced. Now, if we keep reading, we're going to find out that this is all the same dragon in the chapter. So you
right, but I was
so you're saying is this a separate dragon?
I'm saying no. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying no. This is the influence that Satan has on these particular nations or these particular individuals. So that's what I'm saying. As far as you have the red dragon, that's why they don't refer to him when you get down to that last verse. It tells you Satan, the devil, the dragon that deceived the whole world. So I'm saying that particular deity that we read about in the book of Genesis had a particular influence on these particular nations, these particular tribes. But remember, we're talking about Adam and Eve being the first person. I'm following you.
I'm with you, but I'm going to make a point to prove.
Well,
you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna seal all this up, and when I'm done, it's gonna blow your mind, Dre. You know what I'm saying? Nah, I'm messing with you. But here's what I'm saying though. This is the same dragon. It's the same dragon in the entire chapter. You're looking at another wonder, like that's coming after verse 9. This is 7 verses before verse 9, introducing the dragon. This dragon is the wonder. So here's the wonder, and it's the dragon. And it's a great dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. And his tail drew the 3rd part of the stars and did cast them down to earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be devoured, for to devour her children it was soon born. When we keep reading, right, there's not a separate dragon. All of this is talking about the same dragon. So if we read verse 7, and there was war in heaven, Michael and his angels fought against the dragon. There's no separate dragon here. It's the same dragon with 7 heads, 10 horns. And the dragon fought his angels and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out. This dragon that's introduced is the dragon that fights, is the dragon that's cast out, is the same dragon a moment ago that you said was synonymous with the serpent in the garden.
No, and that's what I'm telling you. That's what I'm telling you. I disagree with that view, because even when I go to like Isaiah chapter 14 and they talk about the king of Babylon, and then you go into it and you continue to read when it's talking about Lucifer, I'm saying I believe there's particular spiritual deities over nations.
What?
Or I can give another example. When you go into Ezekiel chapter 27 and verse 28, you got the king of Tyre, and then it goes into the prince of Tyre. And it says, let me read it real quick, just so you can see my take of what I'm saying. I'm gonna go to Ezekiel real quick, chapter 27. And I'm gonna read. I ain't gonna read that many verses. Ezekiel 27. Here we go. I'm gonna just start at verse 1. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Now thou son of man, take up a lamentation for Tyrus, and say unto Tyrus, O thou art a statue at the entry of the sea, which are a merchant of the people for many hours. Thus saith the Lord God. So when you start off like that, and this is Ezekiel 27, just so I don't belabor the point. When you get to Ezekiel 28. Listen what it says. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, Thus saith the Lord God, because thou hast lifted up thine heart, and thou hast said, I am a God. I sit in the seat of God in the midst of the sea, yet thou art a man and not God. Though thou set thine heart as the heart of God. So it starts off talking about a man. Last part, then when you get to verse 12, Son of man, take up the lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God, thou sealest up the sum full of wisdom and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was thy covering, the sardius, topaz, and the diamond, and the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, the sapphire, the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou was created. I'm gonna just read two more verses and I'm gonna fall back. Verse 14, thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou wast upon the holy mountain of God. Thou hast walked up and down in the midst of the stones of the fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou was created, till iniquity was found in thee. Now I ask you a question real quick. Who was the anointed cherub that iniquity was found in as it pertains to Ezekiel 28?
King of Tyre.
He was an anointed cherub. What is an anointed cherub?
Correct, because it's giving him a glorious position. You know what I'm saying? Like the scriptures is talking in metaphors, much like, you know what I'm saying, O Lucifer, how art thou fallen, thou son of the morning, was talking about the king of Babylon. And all of this is actually proving my point. You know what I'm saying? That when you go and you read I'm sorry, I didn't know if you were done with your point. You know what I'm saying? Because I was about to respond. You know what I'm saying? So you...
Oh yeah. I can't. It's only one last reference that I would reference real quick, and that's in Daniel chapter 10.
Before we go there, can I ride out on this? Okay.
So
this was my point. That was my point, was that both of those chapters were talking about nations, and guess what else was talking about nations? That dragon in Revelations. The dragon in Revelations 12 is the same dragon in Revelations 13. That dragon in Revelations 13 has what? 7 heads, crowns on his heads with 10 horns. They are synonymous. There aren't 2 dragons that's inside Revelations 12. And this is my point, that from a principality perspective, from a spiritual perspective, yes, that is Satan's manipulation or whatever the case may be, but he's using these nations. He used the king of Babylon, used the king of Tyre. Guess what else he used? This dragon that is these nations. How do we know what nations they are? Because the 13th chapter lets you know, based off of Daniel's vision. There's damn near not even a Christian on earth that would argue in Daniel's vision, if you understand, if Revelations 13 and then, you know what I'm saying, Daniel chapter 7 are the same, which means what? That all of that is talking about who came out of the Assyrians, the Medo-Persian Empire, and then the Greeks, which would be Rome. What came out of Rome? Every single other European nation, whether it was Spain, Portugal, Italy, France, Germany, you know what I'm saying, so on and so forth. Then the 10 common stock markets that came out of those.
Right.
So what you're reading about is that it was a serpent in the garden that was a man. If you want to say his spirit was of Satan, I would agree with you. But what happened is that man, you understand, grew into a great nation by the time you get to Revelations, which is why he's a dragon with might now, who's what? Now making war with the saints.
Right.
Because these are nations that it's speaking of. Because Revelations is an allegory, just like that chapter in Genesis is an allegory, which is why he's calling him that old serpent.
That's
because the serpent was always a representative of man. And if the serpent is representative of man, that means there was other people in the garden with Adam and Eve who didn't come from Adam and Eve. So Adam and Eve couldn't be the first man. That's why I brought you there. That's my entire premise.
All right.
Okay, for sure. So I don't want to, get too caught up in this, because I want to get back to that. But when you get back to Daniel, and that's why I was saying, as far as Revelations, I believe it was spiritually referencing the entity over those particular nations, just like in Daniel 10, right? The prince of the kingdom of Persia. Who is the prince in the kingdom of Persia in Daniel 10 and 13?
You tell me.
I'm saying it's a spiritual being. That's my take. Do you agree or disagree with that?
So the reason as to why I would disagree, you know what I'm saying, as far as who was ruling over Daniel at the time when that chapter's written? It was the Persians, was it not?
I definitely answer that, but I'm asking you, who was the prince of the kingdom of Persia?
I just want to make sure we agree before, because I'm going to keep answering. I want to make sure that we don't have a separate point of contention and then we're arguing two different things.
Absolutely. I wouldn't disagree that they were being ruled. As far as in the time of Daniel, it says, but the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 120 days.
Okay, right, because this is what happens. Everything, what you bind on earth, you bind in heaven. Everything that's in the physical has a spiritual counterpart. That's why even Christ, when he healed physical ailments, you know what I'm saying? And Dre, we'll probably go on for like another 10 minutes because we're going to have phone lines and stuff like that. So about 10, 15, minutes, give or take. You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to give you the space to respond as well. You know what I'm saying? But point being is, every time Christ healed a physical illness, wasn't a spirit cast it out? So I'm not disagreeing with you that even in Revelation, that there's a spirit behind those nations, just like there's a spirit behind the Prince of Persia, just like there was a spirit behind the king of Babylon, just like there was a spirit behind the king of Tyre. I'm not going to argue the fact of the principality, but here's what you're doing. You're neglecting the physical. You're neglecting the Persian. You're neglecting the Babylonian. You're neglecting the nations inside of Revelations that's referencing, because that dragon in 12 and 13 is the same, and there's only one dragon in the 12th chapter.
For sure. So who is the prince of the kingdom of Persia in Daniel 10 and 13?
But this is what I'm telling you. This is the principality ruling over, you understand, the Persians, and the Persian has a literal prince ruling over the nation of Israel.
But I'm trying to be specific. You know what I'm saying? I'm being specifically, because remember.
What do you want me to name him, like Darius or something? Like what?
Yes, I want to be specific, because remember, Daniel prayed, and it took 21 days for this particular angel or this particular being to come. This angel to come to deliver the message. And the angel said, I'll read it real quick, and I'll get down.
Okay.
I'll just for the
where are we now? You said we're in Daniel 10 and what? Where do you want to start?
Daniel 10. I'll start at Daniel verse 10. Daniel 10 and 10. And behold, he touched me, and which set me upon my knees and upon the palms of my hands. And he said unto me, O Daniel, a man greatly beloved, understand the words that I speak unto thee, and stand upright. For unto thee now am I sent. And when he had spoken this word unto me, I stood trembling. Then said he unto me, fear not, Daniel, for from the first day that thou didst set thine heart to understand and to chasten thyself before thy God, thy words were heard, and I am come to thy words. So this was 21 days. When you read up in the chapter, if I start from the beginning, it tells you 21 days prior to this, Daniel had prayed to receive whatever revelation this angel was going to bring. And that's what he says in verse 13. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 120 days. But lo, Micah, one of the chief princes, came to help me, and I remained there with the kings of Persia. So before I continue, I want to know, who do you believe the prince of the kingdom of Persia is talking about right here?
It don't say
is it a man?
But what I'm saying is it don't say his name. This is what I'm saying. Like I don't.
Do you believe it's a man or an angelic being?
As far as what here?
Yes, sir.
It would have to be a man, because when you see one of the chief princes came to help me and remain there with the kings of Persia. Who are the kings of Persia here then?
And which verse are you referring to?
In the same verse, it says, remain there with the kings of Persia. Are those not literal kings?
You're talking about 13?
Yeah.
But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 120 days. But lo, Micah so you said 13? I just want to make sure I'm following the verse.
Yeah, because what I'm saying is, are those not literal kings? I'm reading in the same chapter as you. We're talking about an angel coming to him. So there's something happening in the spiritual and something happening in the physical. Because Daniel, remember, Daniel, in every single kingdom that he went into, was he or was he not given a position of like a vizier or the third highest?
I would say yeah. But in this case,
hold on. So what I'm saying is, when Daniel's withstanding kings and princes in Persia, there are physical kings and princes that he's dealing with because of his position in being around the aristocracy. So I'm not sitting here and telling you that there isn't spiritual things happening with him and angels aren't visiting him, but you're doing exactly what I told you earlier. You're neglecting the actual physical that the principalities rule over, that is the rulers of Persia. So why are you neglecting the flesh?
I'm not, and that's what I'm asking you, because you didn't answer my question yet. You said this was a literal man. It says, but the prince of the kingdom. So an angel was coming to deliver a message. Do we agree thus far? An angel was coming to deliver a message to Daniel.
Yes, and this happens all throughout the book of Daniel.
Fair, right.
Yeah.
But the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 1 and 20 days. But lo, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, and I remained there with the kings of Persia. So so you're telling me an angel contended with a man for 21 days to the point that Michael had to come and help him.
When did I say that?
I'm asking you because you said right here, the prince of the kingdom of Persia is a man. And he said right here, he said, the prince of the kingdom of Persia withstood me 1 and 20 days. But let's continue. Watch this. Verse 14. Now I am come to make thee understand what shall befall thy people in the latter days, for yet the vision is for many days. And when he had spoken such words unto me, I set my face towards the ground and I became dumb. Let me just read these last 2 verses. And behold,
I'm trying to understand where you're coming from. Maybe if you tell me your premise, so that this way I would understand, because I don't understand the narrative you're painting.
I got you. I'll just read these and I'll do it. And I'll be there.
Okay,
it says in verse 16, and behold, one like the similitude of the sons of men touched my lips, then opened my mouth and spake and said unto him that stood before me, O my Lord, by the vision my sorrows are turned upon me, and I have retained no strength. So I'm just going to read one more verse. I'm going to read one more verse and I'll be done. Look, verse 20. Then said he, knowest thou wherefore I come unto thee? Now will I return to fight the prince of Persia. And when I am gone forth, lo, the prince of Greece shall come, but I will shew thee which is noted in the scripture of truth. So I'm saying this angel is telling Daniel from the moment I heard your prayer. You feel me? From the moment I heard your prayer, it took me 21 days to come. I had to fight with the prince of Persia. It took me 21 days to get here. I'm asking you, who's the prince of Persia that the angel had to fight with for 21 days?
I got you, right? So this is maybe this will try to make it a little bit, you know what I'm saying, more clear. You know what I'm saying? The empire that comes after the Persians is the Greeks, correct?
Greek, Romans, Babylonians. Okay.
Right? So now what you see here is the Persians is going to be removed from power, and the Greeks are coming next. Remember, inside the same book of Daniel, it's either in the 4th or the 9th chapter where it says that it's the Lord who puts, you understand, these kings on their throne. The Lord uses his angels in order to do this. I told you earlier, what happens in the spiritual happens in the physical. You understand? So if the Lord is going to raise up or destroy a nation, it's going to be an angel that does it. So when it's talking about this contending, it's talking about the work that has to happen for this to fall, the vision to complete, and the Greeks to come in. This is talking about the fulfillment of his vision that he's explaining to him. The Persians are going to fall and Alexander's coming next.
I'm with you. Because
that's literally what it's saying. So that's what I'm trying to tell you is that you're seeing that the Lord controls this in the spirit, but it's physical nations this is happening to. And that's why I keep saying, why are you neglecting the physical? I'm glad we read down to 20. And that's what I'm trying to tell you, that in the same chapter of Revelations, that dragon is representative of physical nations, even
I don't
though
argue that. I don't argue that, though, Chaataza.
You did argue that earlier.
No, Chaataza, I literally said, even in Revelations, I believe that spiritual was a manifestation of them being over literal nations. And that's why I gave the example in Isaiah 14. Remember Ezekiel 28 and this one right here. So I'm literally coming here because I believe, like you said, the Persian and Greece battle in 499 BC, then you get to Daniel 539 BC. So I'm saying that they understood that these angelic, which would be a whole nother conversation. I'm not trying to, belabor it. And I know
you don't want to get into the fallen angels.
Yeah, you feel me?
I got you.
You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get into all that. You feel me? But I know you said it's a limited. How much time I got left for you? Tazaryach?
We do gotta move on soon. I want to give you your closing point, and then just to be fair, someone in the super chat, you know what I'm saying, gave a donation to ask you a question. So I just want to make sure that they get answered. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. I just read 2 or 3 more verses, and then I'll mute up, and they can pose their question, and I'll be done. And we can build, what I'm saying, at another time.
Cool.
So in 1 Corinthians 15, one of the main things I like to reference is it says, verse 45, and so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul. The last Adam was made a quickening spirit, and we know the last Adam is obviously talking about Christ as far as that goes. Howbeit that which is spiritual, but that which is natural, and that afterwards that which is spiritual. Last verse 47. The first man is of the earth, earthy. The second man is the Lord from heaven. So and I'm not going to ask a question because I know you know what I'm saying, but those are, I just wanted to reference those. I got so many apocrypha I want to go to. I talked to some brothers a couple of days ago, but Like, to me, and if I could ask you one question, and I yield. I ain't got no other verses to read.
Okay, no, go ahead, because and then I guess you know what I'm saying. I'll respond to that because that first man, last man. You know what I'm saying is always something that I don't even know why y'all pull that, because then Christ wasn't the last man on the earth literally, but y'all want to make Adam the first man on the earth literally. But wouldn't both have to be literal then? That's what confuses me.
No, because it doesn't. It says the first man Adam was made a living soul, and the last Adam, so it was made a quickening spirit. So it's letting you know that the first Adam, we know that it's talking about Christ. Because when we go into it now, and in this last up my question, if you give me 30 seconds.
Okay, come on with it. Come on with it.
Okay, for sure. Because we know when it talks about him being the last Adam, we know when you look it up historically, whether you go to Josephus, etc., it tells you that Adam came from the quote unquote earth. He came from the red earth. It means his meaning. The earth, remember you go to the book of Genesis, it says the earth had never been tilled before. His mother was virgin earth, his father God. So Christ being the second Adam, his mother, you know my take, I believe in the virgin birth. So his mother being Virgin Mary, his father God. So my question is to you though, because I know you're good at history and I know you reference history often.
Okay.
I got 8 references right now that suggest Adam was the first man ever created. Do you have any historical references right now? Because I got the Dead Sea Scrolls, I got Josephus, I got Church Fathers, and I got 5 other sources right now. Do you got any other historical references where they go back to the 1st century? I got back to 250 BC and some more. Do you have any historical references that suggest the interpretation of your understanding that Adam was not the first man? Do you have any historical references to support that view?
I've never even tried to look for one. You know what I'm saying? So the answer would be no. Like, that's not an area of history that I would even diverge into. Like, and for example, like Josephus, while as a historian, doesn't mean that everything that he said was accurately. You know what I'm saying? Just like, he acknowledged Christ as a historical figure, but you know what I'm saying? He didn't acknowledge him as the Messiah. So to put validity on everything that he's saying would now mean, well, if we trust his doctrine, then Christ is not the Messiah. And that's something that I'll never agree with. So I can't put validity on certain historical references because the Bible is the authority. And according to what I read in the Bible, you know what I'm saying? Even from what I explained a moment ago, it's clear that there would be other nations just based off the old serpent. You know what I'm saying? Like, that really solidified my entire argument. And then even with the first man, last man, Adam, you know what I'm saying? For us, all that means is Adam was given the breath of life and Christ is able to give you the breath of life. He's able to bring life to you. You know what I'm saying? Because of him, we're able to be born again. You understand? Whereas, you understand, Adam was given that opportunity, but Christ can give it to us.
Right. So you believe when it's saying the first man, Adam, that's just talking about. So when it says he was the first man and he says of the earth, you're saying that just means what he was. He received some type of instruction, because even when we went to the breath of life, we seen that was spoken of about the animals in Genesis chapter 7.
But that would be a different context.
I hear you, but it's all in Genesis, in the book of Genesis. We don't see that, respectfully, we don't see that idea that you're talking about as it pertains to the breath of life into the book of Ezekiel. So that would be in a different context also. Wouldn't you say?
Even if I brought up the argument, we can also say that the language, you know what I'm saying, grew and matured over the time. But how many years is it by the time you get from Ezekiel, you know what I'm saying, from Genesis to Ezekiel, and as far as what the scribes would be, you know what I'm saying, commenting over, even from words of invention, you know what I'm saying, and depending on what book, the time frame they were written in, you know what I'm saying. So one, I'm going to exclude historical references. I've never looked for it. I don't think that I need to. 1, 2, you know what I'm saying, to the other point, you know what I'm saying, with Adam being the first man, it's really making a comparison, because I don't know where you stand with this, but also because we teach that Christ was Adam, you know what I'm saying, as far as the two of them, and Christ being the Alpha and Omega is because the beginning and the end for us was what? It was Adam and Christ. Everything failed, and we're in this predicament because of the door that Adam opened up. It's the Alpha. And the Omega is Christ fixing everything. It's the completion of everything, which is why one was given life and now death came, and the other one is a quickening spirit and now life comes, and we get to be restored to the covenant and back to the Most High like we were always supposed to be. It's the perfect story. It's the perfect storm. It's beautiful. I just want to K Shine, you know what I'm saying, put a super chat in. They had a question for you.
Okay, for sure.
This was Cap, can you ask him if in Genesis 2:24 is Adam acknowledging his parents, which is an excellent question. Sound like Kayshawn studies.
Let's go check it out. Genesis chapter 2. He's talking about when a man, therefore, said Genesis chapter 2:24. Therefore shall a man leave his father and mother and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh, and they were both naked, and the man and his wife are not ashamed. My view or my take is no, because I don't see anything about him having a biological or earthly mother or father. I believe this is like, a concept. It's expounding on a concept on how we are to operate with our particular wives, or, wives with their husbands. You leave from your husbands. You leave from your family, or as far as your mother and father, and you are to cleave unto your husband. And we see this narrative, all throughout the text later on. So I personally wouldn't say that, because I haven't seen any text, because in all fairness, Chaataza, you would agree. Typically, you ask when we say like something like Mary is of David, you'd be like, well, show where it says that. What tribe was from? Well, respectfully, if I post the same question back, respectfully, no one can show what tribe. If you want to say Adam was from a tribe, no one can show who his mother or who his father was. And that's why I say historically, there's no historical references that agree with the idea nor that interpretation. I believe this is just more so expounding on a particular concept. I do think that was a good question, and I love good questions because they yield good answers.
But here's the thing, right? And that's usually a question that I would ask as well. If we would have, gotten deeper into it, we could have got there. But the point is that if that concept was created, to me, if I just use critical thinking, it wouldn't make sense for that concept to have even been thought of or consisted of for Adam and Eve, because what parents would they be leaving? They wouldn't be leaving anything. If anything, the tradition should have been started after one of their children got a wife and went on. So for them to make the reference point from Adam and Eve, to me, would insinuate that when these two came together, you understand, they started this new thing, and that they went on to be joined on together and separated from their family. And in respect to what you said, what I'm saying, they wouldn't be listed. But the reason as to why they wouldn't be listed is because not everyone is listed in pedigree. What is listed in pedigree is those of importance, you understand, those of prominence, and those, you understand, primarily that the Lord chose, as far as him letting us know in this instance, Adam is the key figure here and his descendants.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's why I was telling the brother, that's like, because I was talking to Tazaryach about this a couple of days ago. But that's like when we in the book of Genesis chapter 1, and it says he brought forth the animals from the water. But it says be fruitful and multiply. They're given a particular instruction to be fruitful and multiply. But that's not how they were brought forth. So it's still, that's what I'm saying, it's conveying a particular idea or concept in which on how we are to carry forth from that point. Animals, as far as birds or fowls, are no longer brought, as far as I know, are no longer brought forth from the water. They're, they're conceived or reproduced within, within their own nature or culture, etc. But at that particular time, the animals, the people, everyone was told to be fruitful and multiply. One little last disclaimer I want to throw out there. And then we'll talk about this when we talk, Chaataza.
And then when you do, I got a question off topic. Go ahead.
Yeah, yes, sir. When we say, remember, because y'all take is that Adam and Eve had Cain, Abel, and then Seth at 130 years old. They were told to be fruitful and multiply. So that would mean that they had 3 children in 130 years. Hey, I know people that had 3 children in less than 40 years now. I'm sure you do as well. Even in the book of Genesis, Exodus, when we deal with the Exodus, you got 4 or 5 generations in less than 50 years. So you telling me he told them to be fruitful and multiply, yet they went and had 3 kids in 130 years? That's a discussion we're going to have. But what's up? What you want to ask?
Okay, so then this was my question, right? What do we do about the virgin birth? Or do I got to give it to Pastor Sam, man? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's been like 2 weeks here. What's going on here?
My only take with that is I think what y'all saying, the virgin birth, and what I'm saying Joseph didn't begot Jesus Christ. So I want to know, what's your issue with that title as far as did Joseph begot Jesus Christ? Why do you disagree with that?
I don't disagree with, I disagree with the fact that he for sure begot, you understand, Christ. However, what you're trying to do is wordplay, because we both know the word begot is not there. I could explain why it's not, but just off proxy, you trying to box me in. That's like if I turned around and said, is Joseph Christ's father? You didn't want to take that because it could be proven that he's his father, but does that mean he's his biological son? So what I said, hold on. So what I suggested, no sweat. What I had suggested which I believe is a extremely fair title, is how is Christ the seed of David? Because that's what struck our argument. So that now you can provide how you believe Christ is the seed of David, as the scriptures say. And I could provide my evidence for how he's the seed of David, as the scriptures say. And we can see who is with and who is without.
Right, I understand. So just so you know that it's no shenanigans. The reason that I didn't want to deal with is Jesus, because what I was told is you wanted to debate is Jesus the son of Joseph. The only reason I don't take that Chaataza is because I don't, and this when we talked that day, remember, and you probably can bear witness that I did say this. I don't believe son of designates begot. You feel me? So like I can go in the Old Testament and show where it says Zerubbabel was the son of Pedaiah and Neriah. He couldn't have been both of their, he couldn't have came out of both of their loins. So I'm saying when you send out a debate to me saying the son of, you feel me?
No, I'm laughing because Captain Tazaryach's in the chat right now. He's like, that's weak, Dre.
It's all good. It's all good. Cap hate me. It's all good. Cap hate me.
Nah, man. Cap got love for you. He just didn't like that you knew his gym schedule.
It's all good. Tell him back. Get back there in. You know what I'm saying? So hey, all I'm saying, and you'll feel me with this one. You understand what I'm saying? I don't believe that son of designates came out of the loins, and I'm sure you can agree with that, Chaataza, because if I can go to the Old Testament and show where it says a person was the son of two individuals, there's no way he could have came out of the loins of both. So I'm trying to trim it down. You feel me? Trim all the fat off the bone. My understanding is begat means came out of the loins. And I'm thinking you believe that Joseph begat Jesus. So you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get straight to it. And you know what I'm saying? Put away, you know what I'm saying? Put away all the semantics per se. Because I'm not trying, I understand what you're saying, but because that's the reason that I wouldn't accept it when you say is Jesus the son of Joseph, because I even believe by Hebrew culture, even if one is adopted, they can be identified.
They could still be a son.
Exactly.
I'm
you feel
with
me?
you, but
so it's not me trying to play the shenanigans. I'm just trying to get straight to the point of brought forth out of the loins of Joseph. And my understanding is begat. That's what begat means.
Hey Dre, but remember what sparked it was we were arguing over the seed of David, which is why I said, so let's just do it. How is Christ the seed of David? I think that encompasses both our arguments. And if you want to stick a fork in begot or whatever, everything you said, you could bring that up because it's producing the cause for your argument, does it not?
I don't that one.
Hey, Salaki, Cap, I feel like the word begot is right there. That's just me, I can show you.
Is that my preset book or yours?
For sure. And that's something.
That brother piping through. You could look through it. I'm joking with you. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I'm watching you.
You said that?
Don't leave with too many breakdowns. I'm watching you. Go ahead, Oxalaki.
No, you good. I think that's a bit more close. You know what I'm saying? That's something a bit closer. I think your brother Rodney even referenced a title like that. That's something that, you know what I'm saying, I'm more willing to kind of look into. So that's something that we more than likely can set up. You know, I've been, you know what I'm saying, considering that anyway. So more than likely, this will be something that will happen. You feel me? I just want to make sure that we're, in agreement on the title, and we'll have a discussion.
That's cool, man. Yawasop was supposed to broker this deal. It's been 3 weeks. I'm about to fire my agent.
No, he did it. It ain't Yawasop's fault. They don't even blame Yawasop. The brother been doing a good. The brother been hitting me up. You know what I'm saying? The brother been trying to get it popping. It ain't. If anybody gonna take the blame, I'll take the blame. You feel me? If somebody got to take the blame, I'll take it. You know.
Let me tell you something, Dre.
That brother been doing this.
That was pretty stand up, man. I'm just throwing jabs. You know what I'm saying? I love Yawasop, man. You know what I mean? But that was pretty stand up of you. You know what I'm saying? But all right, no doubt. So hit me up behind the scenes, and then we go from there. Somebody said Salaki on stage.
Sure.
Damn, Kev, I wanted to ask Dre a question before he left.
You in the Matrix? You chopping up a little bit.
He said he wanted to ask me a question before he bounced.
Oh, you can make that out.
I wanted you to read Matthew 1-16.
I read Matthew 1-16.
Oh yeah, wait, hold on. Wait, hold on. Y'all not about to have the virgin birth battle now. You understand? This is mine and Dre's fight. We gonna handle this down the line.
Facts, for sure.
All right. Trilla, you got anything you want to add? What's going on, brother? You just came to kick it.
What's going on, brothers? What's the topic?
Well, we kind of passed the initial topic now, you know what I'm saying? Was Adam the first man? And I guess Christians don't know the Bible was just a jab at all Christendom everywhere, just because, you know, why not? Y'all hate Israelites.
Oh, come. Well, I raised my hand when I heard y'all talking about the Prince of Persia and the Prince of Greece, but I think y'all came to an agreement with, you know what I'm saying, with, you know, divine beings and whatnot.
Yeah, I definitely think we came to agreement, you know what I'm saying? And then as far as, I just don't like when people deny the you know what I'm saying, the physical part. You know what I'm saying? That's what I was bringing up, is that like even with the king of Babylon and Lucifer, you know what I'm saying? You can clearly see throughout that chapter that it's speaking of a man, and it's speaking of a man in such a poetic way. Even when it says, "How art thou fallen from heaven?" in the beginning of the chapter, when it talks about the king of Babylon, it's like, you know what I'm saying? How hath the oppressor ceased, the great city, you know what I'm saying, be destroyed? Because it's all given reference points directly to Babylon coming out of power. You know what I'm saying? But I guess that would lead into a whole fallen angels discussion. That's what we haven't. We haven't had a fallen angels debate in years.
Yeah, we definitely don't mind getting into that, because especially like at this point in the conversation, like you would have to agree. Well, I guess you already did it in Daniel chapter 10, because when we look at the setting in Daniel 9 and 10, Persia has already
fuck up, but cut the entire computer off. It's not wonderful.
Check, mic check 1 2. Are we still live? Can I get a hold up? Unmute us on Clubhouse. I don't hear Clubhouse. Oh, you probably got to go back in the room. Do it again. Hey, can I get a 1 in the chat on YouTube if y'all can hear me right now?
Yeah.
Hello.
Let's get a 1.
Shalom Yishuritha.
physical. Like I can go to a couple of different ancient interpretations, like in Isaiah 34 verse 6, where it says,
Okay,
"My sword shall be better than heaven."
But over here, are we okay? We're good back on here. The computer just rebooted. All right, Yishuritha.
Let's get a 1.
All right, hold up. Are we back on Club? Can y'all hear me on Clubhouse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, we back. Just so y'all know, and of course he gonna take this
Loud
one.
and clear.
You know what I'm saying? Because I wanted the fallen angels, but Captain Tazaryach said he wanted the debate on fallen angels.
I don't mind taking it. I don't know if Jack wanted it. I don't mind if you take it that way.
Man,
if Jack wanted it, Jack can take it, but I'll take it.
Man,
I'll take that too.
Captain Tazaryach will dance on your grave.
I hear you. I hear you.
Yo, Dre, let me tell you something. You a good sport though, bro. I'm not gonna hold you,
I
man.
hear you, brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm not here to, we can sell tickets. You want to sell tickets, but Cap know what's up when he walk my way. You know what I'm saying? You know, this is a dark alley. You feel me? So that it don't matter whether you want that energy. Look, as far as a virgin birth, we can discuss. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? You remember in Don't Be a Menace when he said, "Do we have a problem?" We got missiles aimed in all directions. You feel me? So if Cap won't get in and get some energy, we got something for Cap. Cap a good brother.
Okay, Cap's on stage right now. So Cap, is Dre a worthy contender? No disrespect, Dre. I just
I won't be offended if Cap don't want to. He didn't tell me before he don't want to.
Listen, the reason I'm saying it is because Cap is the reigning world champ right now. You know what I'm saying? He 172-0.
I feel you. I feel you. I ain't knocking that, bro.
My name. Hey, Chaataza, who you had to drop? I want to know who had me blocked.
I actually had to drop Kim.
Yeah, both of my accounts was blocked. I couldn't see the room at all. Hey, what you were saying, Andre?
I didn't want to just out you like that.
Chaataza, I was saying you wanted to do a Fallen Angels debate. And he was saying, I was just
that sounded interesting. It kind of piqued my interest. I haven't done that subject.
That's what I was just saying, man. I was hoping
he was
I could get
Cap
this
gonna
one,
dance
but
on your grave. Cap gonna DDT you and suplex.
Gonna use your blood for war paint.
Exactly. That's what he said, though. But I'm all willing for that discussion. You know what I'm saying? Fallen Angels discussion.
That might be good. Like that's a subject I haven't done in a while. Because I usually do, like most people want to do like the virgin birth or Gentile or some shit. I got a reincarnation debate in June, the end of this month. So that might be something I'd be interested in. Only because I haven't done it in a while.
For sure. Y'all just let me know. If you want to do me, Brother Jack might take it. You know what I'm saying? Any one of us will have a discussion. Cap, it's all love. You know what I'm saying? Ain't no malice. So I feel like
I like Dre. You see how Dre talking right now? Dre talking like this right now. He gonna go at your ass.
You dig what I'm saying? It's gonna be pressure. You know what I'm saying? Pressure.
Pause. That's a pause. That's pause. That's why I like Dre. So that was pretty good. But that's all I wanted. You got it, Chaataza.
Oh, no sweat. Hold on. Is this cat Albie still in the room? He's crying, saying no outsiders on stage. I don't really feel like dealing with him tonight.
Hey, Cap.
Nah, well, the rule I be having for Albie is that if it's as long as it's not a black issue, he can come on stage and debate. But if it's a black issue, he can't involve himself at all.
Okay, I think that's a fair rule.
Yeah. So because he is a professional debater. He's a good debater. So I'll give him that. Now, I don't want to say professional. Strike that from the record. But he does debate. But he can't involve himself in black problems and shit like that. He be trying to be black. White folk, they always try to do that.
I think that's a fair assessment.
I like LB a lot because he always let me practice my Trinitarian finishing moves on him first. And I was like, man, look, I got this. Hey, LB, I got this new fatality. You know what I'm saying? He'd be like, all right, man, I'll be your first crash dummy. So I love that brother. You know what I'm saying? He a good brother. He all right. He when we read the verses about Israel, destroying Assyria, you know what I'm saying? He always praised the Most High for that type of stuff.
And he offered to cut my grass in the kingdom.
Yeah, now you talking. The cutting the grass, all that shit Triller said, I don't know about that. But cutting the grass in the kingdom, I rock with that.
Hey, Cap, you know, Albie said Obadiah 1:18 happened already. I'm still waiting on him to prove it, but he said it happened already.
Man, where Esau's cut off?
Yeah. He said the cutoff by slaughter.
You agree with that, Triller?
Yeah, I could prove that happened at least once, maybe twice.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah, rock with each other.
You know what I'm saying? Isaiah 63 still future, but I can prove that was fulfilled a couple of times.
That's what.
Yeah, so Cap, you're gonna take the Fallen Angel debate, all right?
I didn't say I was gonna, but I'm definitely gonna consider it.
All right.
I got this white boy. I'm gonna be on. We doing Kill Stream next.
Oh shit!
What's the 16th?
You know what I forgot?
That's a Friday.
Oh, you got that booked?
Yeah, that's booked. I'm just waiting.
Hey man, you got a job.
Shut up.
So
I'm a debating what's this white boy name? Hey, let me tell y'all a funny joke while I got y'all. This guy Killstream, I'll be telling y'all, white people they're real funny. So this white boy, his name is Ralph. He's the one that runs this show called Killstream. They used to be on YouTube, they got banned off of YouTube. They on this other site called Rumble, which is like YouTube, but it doesn't have the restrictions. So everybody knows I've been on this show a few times. So there's this guy, Joel Davis, white guy. Me and him are having a debate June 16th. And so the funny part is, so that's a Friday, so it'll be a Friday show, Chaataza, just to let you know. So but he texted me. He was like, he gonna make a flyer. So when he texted me, he says, I'm reading the text now. He says,
I didn't hear nothing you said, Salaki.
Did anybody hear what I said?
I heard you, but I was getting ready to do a promotion, so I missed out.
Oh, okay, I got you. So now here's what he said that was funny. So he sends me this text. He was, I think Friday night gives it more hype too. I have to post it tomorrow, and we're posting on Twitter. I got a week ban. LOL, it's up tomorrow. I said, LOL, you always ban. He said, these so-called Jews stay on my ass. That's how he texted. He said these so-called Jews stay on his ass.
He said so-called? That's crazy.
Yeah, he said so-called. He said these so-called Jews stay on my ass. So that's June 16th. And then I got Yara, June 24th or 25th, whatever day that is. Hey, did y'all play that video of the nigga smoking crack on the line?
Yeah, we did earlier, yo. And I don't know what he was smoking, but it looked like he was freebasing.
No, I ain't see that.
Dre, I'm gonna send you this clip, man. Dre, listen. So Chaataza talking to these Aboriginal dudes. So there's some guy named Chief something or whatever. Him and Chaataza dialogue. So I don't think the dude, just like when I told Shaka we could see him putting the deodorant on, I don't think Shaka knew the camera was on. I don't think this dude knew the camera was on. Yo, this nigga pulled out a fucking can. Excuse my language. He pulled out a can and was smoking out of the can like a crackhead, Dre. Yeah, I'm listening to you. Yeah, on the live where everybody could see him, and then they blew him up on the screen, so you see him smoking the can. I ain't never seen nothing like that on a live stream before in my life.
Yeah,
I'm gonna send you the link. Though. I'm gonna send you the link.
You know what was crazy? I think how it went down is he was talking, and then it sounded like he was about to try to chime in again. So they zoomed in on him, like they brought his joint up because but he was like, man, fuck it, I'm gonna just smoke. And so he didn't. I don't even think he knew he was on camera. So he got the whole makeshift pipe in his face out of a beer can, lighting that shit up, looking like he freebasing.
Because I would have titled that video. I think you titled the video like Aboriginal Chief Smokes Peace Pipe. I'd have said smokes crack pipe. I would have said
rocks.
You should
straight.
Yeah,
rocks.
you should. I mean, it ain't too late to change the title. I would say smoke crack rock. I'd have said smoke something.
I know Karab is listening, so you know what I'm saying. And Har and Ashar, somebody gonna do that.
Somebody need to change that title. That title crazy.
But just before we move on, you know what I'm saying. While we have you know what I'm saying, everybody up.
But I'm gonna drop out, man. I'm gonna drop out. I just was amazed. I couldn't see the room.
Well,
so I was just
you might want to hear this one though.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
If y'all look at the top of the room right now, right, it says event pre-registration. So what we're doing is we're giving out 10 free tickets to our pay-per-view event coming up on our platform for Cross the Line. So you can either buy a ticket yourself, but we're sponsoring for 10 tickets. So the link up top, could you put it on the screen? Har, could you put it on the screen as well so that the people at home could see? If you go to crossthelineradio.com and you click Captain Tazaryach versus Elder Yara, what you're going to see is event pre-registration, and it's going to say win ticket. What you can do is you'll be able to see, let's go back to the screen. You'll see 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You understand, Sunday, June 25th. And now you'll be able to win a free ticket. You fill out the form, and out of everyone who fills out that form, 10 people are going to be picked to be able to get access to the event for free. All right. If you're already a member signed up to Cross the Line, you get a discount code. You know what I'm saying? You get a coupon and you'll get a discount from the ticket. But everybody else would have to pay for the event.
That was going to be my question, Captain.
What's
A
that?
member of what?
Number of what?
A member of what before I fill it out? A member of Cross the Line Radio?
So, okay, so
Mama Phil.
crossthelineradio.com, right? So just to give you a little background, we used to have a Patreon. On our Patreon, we used to have all of Captain Tazaryach's lectures, behind the scenes footage, as well as, access to special events. Patreon removed us, stating that we don't use the platform to teach hate speech, but they believe we're doing it elsewhere. So as a result, they removed us because they said their guidelines extend off the platform, freedom of speech, right? So we built our own platform. So all the material that you got on Patreon is now on our own website, and we built our own version of Zoom. So it works better than Zoom, all the features that Zoom has, but you're not going to hear like when Garfield goes live, like mute your mic, close your camera, because we got all that on lock. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is our first pay-per-view is going to be June 25th, and you can go and you can fill out right now. You don't have to be a member of Cross the Line, but anyone can win. 10 free tickets are going to be given out. And if you are a member of Cross the Line, then you get a discount, you know what I'm saying, to that and every other pay-per-view event we do moving forward. I'm in negotiations for another event at the end of July between Top Cats and Captain Soccer War. The topic we're negotiating is, do the North American Indians fit the curses of the Bible? And 3 is supposed to be at the end of August with Garfield, but he acting like a prima donna. We'll see what happens.
Right.
Roger that. So does that mean if I'm already subscribed to Cross the Line Radio on YouTube that I'm a member?
Cross the Line Radio on YouTube? No. This is our website.
Captain's channel. Oh, okay.
Okay.
That clears it up for me. Thank you.
Okay. This is what I would do, right? I'm sorry. The Captain's channel was as far as the subscription you just subscribed, there was a subscription based for payment every month for those who wanted to support. We're moving from there to Cross the Line. So all the behind the scene footage is going to be there, and it's cheaper. It's for a flat rate of $4.99 a month now. You know what I'm saying? So if anyone was subscribed, move over to our actual website and let's stop paying, all these people who censor us. You know what I'm saying? That's the one beautiful thing about Cross the Line Radio. When we do the debates there, we have absolutely, free speech. You know what I'm saying? No one is going to kick you off or say you're anti-Semitic or, this ain't like Mark Zuckerberg. You ain't going to Facebook jail. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Salaki, sir.
Good.
Hey, does that dude from what's his name, radio with Cap be on, the white dude that always be getting censored? Does he know he can pay on Tribe Vibes or whatever?
What do you mean?
You know how he done got kicked off all them platforms for anti.
We ain't putting them on them platforms.
Oh, okay. I thought you wanted the bread. I thought he.
Nah, this is most definitely not inclusive.
Here's what could happen. If they set up a debate, they could come on, and then of course, you know what I'm saying, anyone could be compensated in a business, manner of, you working for us, them working for us in that capacity. I'll 1099 him at the end of the year. It's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? But as far as bringing him on, like, hey, pal, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever, what do they call each other? I don't know. It's not happening. You know what I'm saying? Ralph's a cool guy, but he ain't that cool. And I would expect understand nothing less from them, even though Captain Tazaryach is in the Hall of Fame over there for the Halsey Cost episode.
That doesn't count though, because everybody loves Captain Tazaryach.
Everybody does love Captain Tazaryach.
I was talking about for the debates he be putting on though. So he can pay to get his debates over there, right?
He can set up a debate with Captain Tazaryach, and we could go from there.
Oh, okay. All right.
And that goes for anybody. You know what I'm saying, if you want to debate or anybody in the ISUPK, we have a pay-per-view platform. You know what I'm saying, and you would be compensated as well. So Dre, I don't know if we're gonna do pay-per-view, but if we do, it would be the same for you as well.
For sure, yeah. We're gonna work, bro. We're gonna work. We're gonna figure something out. You know what I'm saying? So just so y'all know, y'all heard it from the kid first.
I know you and your 8 followers though. They'll show up.
Hey, yeah, I only got 3. Why you gotta say 8? I only got 3.
I tried to bless you, man. I tried to give you the benefit
I
of
only
the
got
doubt.
3, man. You don't help me out, man. You know what I'm saying? I got 3, y'all. Don't let Chaataza, you know what I'm saying? But no, we're gonna make something work. We're gonna make something shake, man. But you know what I'm saying? This gonna happen. This gonna go down. You know, this need to happen for the people. So, you know what I'm saying? This like Tank and Ryan. You know what I'm saying? I'm Tank, Chaataza Ryan. You feel me? So he gonna swing with the right. I'm gonna catch him with the left. And you feel me? And discussion over. You feel me? Ain't that right?
Exactly.
Ain't that right?
You got extra? Hell yeah, I want one. Hell yeah. Those is insomnia cookies?
He damn sure did these. He damn sure did.
Hell yeah.
I don't know what got his attention, but he didn't hear that.
That's the Lord working. The Lord wants y'all to hear that truth.
Yo,
Hey, Chaataza, you hear that?
These is insomnia cookies. I don't care about nothing you just said.
See,
I
he
got
eating
cookies.
He eating cookies and bacon,
Cap.
brownies. You know.
Hey, while he paying attention, can I move Dre down?
Oh man, see how y'all gonna do? You got us up. See how they gonna do? So when Jay pay attention, I'm gonna be gone. I'm gonna be out and disappear. I'm from the room.
Dre's our special
That means
guest
I'm
this
gonna move
evening.
myself down.
Nah, Steph,
Hey,
you
Cap,
good too,
you
man.
missed it. Dre said you're Ryan, he's Tank.
I said, I'm Ryan. You gonna swing? I'm gonna catch you with the left, and it's over. You feel me? So.
He's being racist. He's just saying that because he knows. Cause he's just saying
You
that because he thinks
Hispanic.
I'm
thinking you
he thinks I'm
Hispanic.
a Garcia. This ain't working like that.
These are good, right?
You're mad good, bro.
Man, damn.
Son, that's what I'm saying, bro. Yo, come here, Charlotte. Cheers, mate. You know what I'm saying? Damn, bro. Yo, listen, I advise all of y'all to try insomnia cookies. And insomnia, I want free cookies for this promo. So next time, send the box over.
Damn.
That's good, yo. My bad, I'm being unprofessional, but these cookies are delicious. But Judah, you had a question or comment? I seen you on stage. The phone lines are like, you could just end the phone line, man. It's 5 minutes left. It's the phone, everything reset.
Wow.
Y'all want to beat up on a fake Messiah real quick?
Yeah, real quick.
Hey, are you guys teaching that there's people before Adam?
I need everybody to just take a turn just stabbing this cat.
Get him, yourself.
Whom you pierced.
Hey, can you walk on Wi-Fi?
I'm walking all over your neck already through Wi-Fi.
Wait, Dre.
What's up, bro?
Wait, Dre, is this your king?
Yourself, smoke him yourself. Hey, get him yourself. I'm gonna mute up, man.
Yep. Hey, so let's talk about it. Was Adam the first man?
Listen, man, we already talked about it, man. Let's talk about how you say you're Jesus.
Okay, well, let's talk about that. If you say I said that.
Where's your kingdom? You didn't say that?
Huh?
You didn't say that?
I haven't told you I was Jesus, not once.
So do you believe that you are the Messiah?
Well, Messiah means anointed. I very am.
Y'all see this shit? I feel like he changes his story every time I talk to him.
No, you just need to listen to me for once, so you might get it right the whole time.
Oh, that's what has to happen. Here, I'll listen to you from down there. Anybody else?
Bong.
I just want to say that as a mother and an old person, I last longer than you before I kick him down.
Well, I would just say, Elder, that you know what I'm saying. I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. That's what she called herself. So you know what I'm saying. You are supposed to have been blessed with the virtue of patience, and I admire you for that.
Thank you.
She gotta laugh at that. She gotta laugh at that one. Damn.
Oh man.
Oh, shit.
With that, man, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate everybody, you know what I'm saying, being here tonight. Dre, you know what I'm saying? You were excellent guest, bro. You know what I'm saying? Trilla, I don't know if it's gonna be you or Dre or whoever, you know what I'm saying, wants to battle when it comes down to Cap with the what are we talking about? Fallen Angels. But click the link at the top. register for, you know what I'm saying, Cross the Line. Sign up if you haven't already, and you got a chance to win. We're giving out 10 free tickets, you know what I'm saying? In the upcoming weeks, every week we'll announce, you know what I'm saying, 2 new winners, and we're going to take it from there, you know what I'm saying? So appreciate all of y'all, and with that,
wait. Check. Wait.
You got one more?
Yes. July 26th to July 30th is the Midwest Fire Weekend. The link is inside the chat and also on the screen. Make sure y'all send y'all donations. Help fund this event. There's going to be an event just for Black, Hispanic, and Native people all over the country. Travel out there to the Midwest and Chicago is going to be a dope time.
Hey, is the itinerary up for that?
Not that we know of yet.
Not yet,
I'll
right?
double check with Cap to find out.
And August is the New York Cookout, and we're going to have Giant Jenga.
And Connect 4.
And Giant Connect 4. And I'm just letting you know.
Chicago did it first.
On accident.
Was it? He's trying to do like one of those
Well, Florida, Florida's doing everything that works.
But you know why? You know why he's saying that though? Because you whooped them in Houston. What city were we in? It was in Houston.
What?
Yeah. You weren't there.
Nah. I
was. Yo, you should have seen Ashar, like, you know what I'm saying, like, then reverse engineer this Jenga building. And I mean, it was crazy. You know what I'm saying? And I was running around. Every time he pulled the block out, I was like, headquarters, baby. Headquarters. Yeah, we won.
I mean, I don't mean to be racist, but I mean, building is kind of like y'all think, Cap. Come on now. Show me what he doing on the space table. Let's do some nigga shit.
Right.
Like,
Whoa. Ashar.
You know what?
Hold on. Space table.
I'm bringing Uno cards this year.
Giant Uno cards?
No. Regular sized Uno cards, and draw 4s. You got to take a shot. Let's go.
Yeah. And with them spades, nobody's seeing Shalaya Allah and the shark upon them spades. Nobody.
Yo, hold on.
He's about to tell some story.
Before we roll, can you put a draw 2 over a draw 4?
No, you cannot.
Tune in next week.
You cannot.
No, you cannot. I mean, the game called